They say you can't keep a good man down. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Coffee with Khosi Season 2, where we're going to be catching up with your favorite celebrities, influencers, and experts. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, can you believe it? Coffee with Khosi is back yet again with another season. I'm your host, Khosi Twala, and to kickstart this whole entire season, I had the best in the country just for you. Please help me welcome the best ever to exist in the soul of South Africa,
Go.
Donna! Oh my gosh, how you doing?
What's up, girl? You good?
Am I good?
Yes.
I mean, I'm better now that you're here,
I'm
Dawn.
glad. I'm glad.
Oh my gosh, it's been a good year for you.
Yes,
I would say.
Yes.
There's more music coming out from you and we're enjoying. Tell me, how have you been?
I mean, it's been great. You know, in 2024, I worked at Engine Garage. And it was beautiful. I'm kidding. But yeah, I think the previous year was really special for me, for my career, for my life, in so many different ways.
Yeah.
I always say that since COVID started, there are a few years where I felt like I just didn't exist.
Really?
Maybe I was just existing, you know, and spiritually I just wasn't there, you know. I was still recovering. I'm probably one of the people that really took a serious knock from COVID, like in so many different ways. Yeah, because I was running, and then I was told to stop.
Yeah.
Literally, you know. I've been running since 2012. Yeah. Never stopped. I had an album every single year.
You had a hit,
music video,
back to back. Like eventually, it was bound to happen.
It was bound to happen. I think that's probably why, also emotionally and spiritually, I took a knock because it just wasn't used to that. You know,
right?
Being on stage also became like a crutch. You know, 2024 was really important because that's when I felt like a different level or a different version of me was born.
Yes.
You know, and I met some really special people who also gave me that opportunity to really find this new guy, you know, and there was a new energy. And I think it reflected in the music, it reflected in the energy that I came with, the visuals, and it's just been so beautiful, man.
Oh, I know. I want us to go back just, before 2012, right? Bekawubani Donald because thina nje sivele sabona nje Chama Boys avele sahlanya.
Yeah, ubani lomfana lo uAsha uMaxwell. Crazy. Like literally that's how people used to call me. People used to call me all these American R&B artist names. You know, and yeah, man. I think maybe to give you a little light, that my life has always been so simple. Yeah. Since I was probably my teens.
Okay.
I started, in a way, isolating myself at a really young age, enjoyed being on my own, being in my room. And I think that was the most important part of my growth because I really found my dreams. I really started kind of seeing my life in the future. That this is actually the type of guy I want to be. Wow. This is who I really want to be. That's where I found my voice.
Where are you from?
I'm from a small village called Manzerre. I was born in Manzerre, grew up in Kraluk. So those are two villages right next to each other.
Is it
Rustenburg.
Rustenburg?
Yeah, I'm a Tswana boy, I'm a Tswana man.
What's
going on? Yeah. What happened?
I thought you were Khosi.
Absolutely not. No. I know I'm giving, Nguni vibes or whatever.
Yeah,
no, it's crazy. A lot of people think it's either I'm Khosi or I'm Zulu. Most people
you barely speak Tswana though.
Tswana. I actually do speak a lot of Tswana. It's just that
never when you're around me. Probably because I don't understand.
Because obvious. But yeah, like a lot of people actually, I'll be honest, because most people really don't know who I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really don't. And that's always been deliberate. I always felt like I wanted to give people what I wanted to give them.
Yes.
They must know that guy, because for me, that's just an extension of who I am. It's not who I am.
Absolutely.
The music, the talent that God gave me is a part of me. And all the other stuff, I really would love to keep a lot of my personal life personal.
Wow.
So that's why a lot of people don't know. But yeah, in Botswana, I was a village boy. I heard cattle growing up. Most people don't believe that because I'm this R&B guy.
A whole village boy.
Yeah, I was. Literally. I was in the mountains, I was in the bushes, taking care of cattle, goats. Like at home, we had like a lot of livestock. So I grew up as that kid, and realizing that also I'm not the child that likes to be in the street made me find myself, because that's where I actually found my voice. I knew I could sing for a while before people found out that I could sing. I think my mother was probably the only person that always knew. She never used to make a big fuss out of it.
Yeah.
But I think she knew, and I went to school. In school, I was an A student. Literally, I was like always top of the class, like in primary school. So I was that kid that almost was very different from the other kids.
Okay.
So that's really who I was, and I think I identify the young Donald with that, including the bullying also, because when you're a different child, you get bullied a lot. So that was a huge part of my upbringing, and that I would say that really made me who I am.
So what would they bully you about?
Well, the fact that I just never wanted to play with them in the mud, or go and do stupid things and then get in trouble with the parents. I was that kid that, like, when the parents say, yo, this is what, I was following the rules. I was that kid. I was
Were you like that up, like all the way till high school and uni?
Yeah. Always been a good kid. Very, follow the rules, listen to the parents, go to the shop to go buy bread when they say you must, and then bring the change.
Yeah, as it is.
Exactly. I've always been that guy. And obviously kids growing up, they don't like that. It's like, hello.
Especially being a boy.
Exactly. I never used to get into fights, like all that type of stuff.
Wow.
So that forced me to end up being on my own.
Wow.
And I found my voice, and I discovered people like Michael Jackson, Usher. And I'm just like, yo, this is amazing. Crazy thing actually, I don't know, I always forget to mention this.
Yeah.
I learned how to speak English before I got to go to a multiracial school. Because eventually, so I was in public schools back Ekaya until a certain age, and my mother took me to a multiracial school. By the time I go to a multiracial school, I could speak English fluently because of TV.
Yeah.
That's
I was the same.
TV taught me how to communicate in English.
I absolutely get it.
That's crazy.
It was a shock when I was in the township schools.
Yeah.
They thought I had studied in.
Of course, I'm saying we talk nothing.
So I understand what you mean. You were not fitting in there.
No, I couldn't fit in.
It didn't make sense for you to be there.
It didn't make sense for me to be from where I was. And crazy thing, believe it or not, because where I was born, it's so, I'm sorry to say, but it feels so dry as a young, boy or girl growing up. You feel like your dreams can't be big because no one also tells you that it's okay to dream big, And I always said, yo, I'm grateful that I was born here, but I'm really,
I don't belong here. There's a bigger world out there,
and I'm going there.
Wherever
that bigger world is.
Did you have a goal? Did you have a dream? I mean, when you were still just a village boy, just young, maybe. I want to say maybe 9, 10.
9, 10.
What was the dream then?
9, 10 would be what? Grade?
I have no idea.
I think about my 7,
9, 10?
Like grade
9, 10
3.
is probably grade 5.
Grade 5.
Yeah.
I was, I'm not sure. I think because I was really like bright, So I thought I was just probably going to be like a doctor at the time.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, because the other dreams came around my 14, 15, 16.
Yes.
You see?
In high school.
Yes, you see, when I got there, my dreams started becoming football. So that's when I discovered that I could play. And I was like, yo, like I love this thing so much. And you see, here's the thing, like everything is so spiritual, Khosi.
Yeah.
I was a soft boy growing up, very soft. Never wanted to fight with anybody, never wanted to do anything that's hard. Yes, my dad used to force me to go and herd the cattle, and that obviously toughened me up a little bit.
Yeah.
But really, what really toughened me was football.
Wow.
Football, like really made me tap into that testosterone. Like, yo, I'm a winner. Let's go. What are we doing?
I think sports in general.
Sports is amazing. I always say sport and music saved my life. That really changed everything for me because like I'm saying, I was initially a kid that would never even want to squabble and fight with another boy or whatever. But when I started playing football, that's the thing.
It was like, who is this now?
Like, you know, I found another level of myself and initially I thought I was going to probably play for Kaizer Chiefs one day. Yeah. Dr. Kumalo was my idol. Wow. And then I was doing the music. You see, so I never thought that music was ever going to be a real thing for me. In terms of work and career. I never thought I could make music a career. Why? When I looked at the music landscape back then, R&B music was never a thing in South Africa.
Jonas, you made it a thing. Like you were the one, like, you set the standard.
To me. Like, when I think about that, that's so
and
crazy.
And you never thought you could be the person who does that.
Yeah, because I was like, yo, I'm an R&B kid. I love everything R&B. Yeah. In South Africa, they'll never accept me. Yeah. I need to sing Kwaito or at least Afro pop. Yeah. You know, singing Zulu, Khosi, Twala, whatever. And I never used to. I used to sing only in English. So I didn't think that was ever going to be a thing. So I did it for fun. I did it for, I guess, also so that I could feel validated as a young boy who was bullied. You know, I wanted something that made me feel good. And being on stage, let me tell you, the first experience I had being on stage performing and literally experiencing how the whole energy in the room changes was probably the most spiritual thing I've ever experienced. And that's why I always tell people, I'm like, music to me is the reason why I'm still solid as a human being, because it's something that really made me realize that I can actually be seen. Because I never thought, imagine a whole A student who didn't see themselves. Like, I never used to see myself. I never used to have the confidence that everybody sees that I have now. But music gave me that confidence because I would start singing and literally, dude, like, people would just like be in awe. And like people would cry, like some like women, old women, like bo auntie, bo mom, they would cry when I sing, you know. And I knew, I was like, there's no way. Wow. There's no way this is like a normal thing. This must be like a superpower. Yeah. You know, and that did a lot also for my mental. That really forced me to think and be a thinker and go deeper than where everybody else thinks. And I'm just like, you know, there's no way I can be ordinary, you know? So I'm always grateful. And that, if we had to like fast forward to me 19 years old, basically what happened was at 19, I was playing for Jomo Cosmos under 19.
I did not know this.
You didn't know this? So I was a footballer.
All these teams that you played for.
Yeah, I played for Vets, I played for Jomo Cosmos. Those were the most obviously recognizable teams at the time. Yeah. And at 19, you either gonna get a professional contract to play PSL, or they're gonna loan you to like a second division team like Mvela. To go and play there while you work your way to the top. It got a little too serious for me. It was serious all this time, but now
it was like, if you're doing this, that means you're really in.
Because also I think I then became that kid who everything I did 100%. At the same time I was pushing the music. You know, I was doing a lot of music development at school at UJ at the time while I'm playing for Jomo Cosmos. So can you imagine what my life was like? I actually never used to have a social life. Yeah. But at 19, I was faced with making a decision. Yes. A decision that would, I guess, change my life forever. Am I gonna entertain getting a professional contract, or am I going to pursue this music thing? And I knew what my decision was. So I went to the back of the academy building at Cosmos, and I cried. I cried for an hour. I was just alone. Because I knew football. That was the last day I ever played football at that level. Wow. Everything else after that will be just me playing socially with my friends. And that's exactly what happened. Because I knew music was always a little bit much bigger and more spiritual.
Even though at the time it wasn't giving you anything.
No, it wasn't.
For sure.
It wasn't. I didn't know that I was going to make it.
Wow.
In fact, at that time I had met Malaika, and one of the guys from Malaika, Ujabu, the late, told me that I was a superstar, right? But the manager of Malaika at the time once told me to my face I would never make it. And the reason she did that was because she was saying, and I mean, I don't blame her. She was saying just everything about me, my character and the way I am, it just doesn't say South African. It doesn't say relatable to Intwana Sekasi. And in my head, I'm like, yo, this lady, like actually, you know what? I'm going to show her. Like that was one of my
always good
my
when
moments.
things like that happen.
Yeah, that was one of my moments. So I chose to go with the music, and I went all the way. I literally went all the way. I recorded an album that never saw the light of day with Ujabu from Malaika. I did backings for Malaika for a while. I was also a substitute member of Malaika. So if one of them would get sick, they would put me in there to go do shows. So I knew all the Malaika songs. Like I was part of Malaika. Yeah, basically. Wow. But that was my way also of developing and really, learning this industry. At the same time, at that time, I was also a backing vocalist for Zonke. So that was, I guess, me, putting my, what do you call it? Is it 100 hours? What do they call it? Really like earning my stripes.
I see what you mean. And for someone else, it might just seem like you just woke up one day and
became.
All that hard work. But you know what I find so thrilling and so beautiful? It's the fact that there were so many options. Like you were doing soccer and music, and you went with music. You know what I mean? You were...
and I could have gone for soccer and became a superstar. Like literally, I was going to be.
Exactly, because you put your all into whatever it is that you're doing. But there are these just significant moments in your life where you just took a decision. And of course, it was the right decision because it made you who you are today.
Oh, the best decision I ever made.
It just seems like there's something that you are in tune with that just keeps leading you to the next destination or where.
Yep. And you know what's so interesting about that? Is that even when I say, and I've said this a few times on other interviews, but I know it goes over people's heads. I've been so fortunate in my life. I always tell people I don't have a CV. I have never had one. My first job, I was a backing vocalist for Jub Jub and Jamela for that record company, Lanster, was that?
I've not.
A Ghetto Rough.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
So there was a record company called Ghetto Rough that brought in a lot of people, Bozola, DJ Cleo, Morafi, Kulichana, all those. So at the time, Jub Jub was working with Ghetto Rough, and Jamela was the producer. And they brought me in. They found me Koskolong, Ko UJ. Because I was doing music at UJ.
Oh, you were doing music.
So I was part of a developmental program called COB, Currents of Blackness. It's something similar to there was this Joy Celebration, but within the campus. So I was part of that, and I was one of the vocalists. I was one of them, the lead vocalist of the group. And so one of the guys that knew Abolans heard me sing, and they asked me to come in do backing vocals in studio. And that was the first time I got paid. I got paid 1,000 Rand.
Stop!
Yes, that was my first payment of anything. I had never worked in retail. I'd never done nothing. I was just in school. I came straight from home, went to school. And
that then, was in 2001.
Yo, jeez. That's a long time ago. You want people to know how old I am?
You don't look like your age at all.
It was probably 2000 and... Jeez. What year was this? 2002?
It was a long time.
Yeah. It's a really, really long time. Yeah. So, and let me tell you, from that session, I started becoming the guy that gets called by a lot of different artists. I did backings for a lot of artists. People don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would go
That's how it is in music,
do backing vocals. Yeah. And get paid.
Wow.
Yeah, and then immediately, not long after that, that's when I started working with Zonke, you know, like live now on stage. I was her backing vocalist on stage. Zonke, I worked with Kelly Kumalo at the time. I worked with Kwela Tebza.
Wow.
I became that backing vocalist guy.
Yeah.
Right? But I knew that wasn't my destination.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, no. Here, I'm just going to meet people. I'm going to like, what's the word? This is how I'm going to basically increase my network.
Yes.
This is how I'm going to network. I'm going to know each and every single important person through being a backing vocalist.
Right.
And that's exactly what I did.
You had a plan.
I had a plan. I had a plan all along.
Okay, now take me through now the moment where you're coming up, slowly, you know, you're there as a backup vocalist and you're just like, you know what? I know my time is coming. I'm just going to keep pushing, keep doing this.
Yeah.
When was it now when the moment arrived? This
For
is
me
now
to become
before we all knew.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, obviously before we all knew and before you broke out and became this huge star, there was a moment where which you had alone. And you're like, okay, this is it.
Yeah, we're doing this.
Yeah?
Yeah, it didn't happen like that. Unfortunately, I wish it happened in just one moment. But it was a series. It was a couple of years of me pushing as a solo artist and not making it.
Yeah.
I went through that. So from being a backing vocalist, luckily I met a man by the name of DJ Cleo, Eskaleni, who is a legend of the industry. He saw me backing for Uzonke.
Yeah.
And for some reason, he just knew that I had talent. And I was singing you understand, we were like this, when you do backing vocals, there's like 3 or 4 of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's soprano, you know, and then, but this guy could tell through those harmonies that boy is special.
Yeah.
He called me up, he took my number that day, invited me to his studio, and he featured me on, that was probably my first, I would say, commercial collaboration that I did with a big artist.
Yeah.
I was on his Kaleni 5 on a song, I don't remember the name of the song, but that's actually where he took me. I went to the studio, recorded that song, and then 3 months later, I got a call from his manager and his label manager, offering me a record deal.
Wow.
That's literally, that was the moment where I was like, oh snap.
It's happening.
Like the days of being in Bramfontein broke are over. I was like, the days of being that broke, you know, student is over.
It's over.
I'm about to make it. Because at that time, Cleo was producing superstars. You know, Cleo had Bricks.
Okay.
Bricks was the biggest Kwaito star at the time. He had DJ Wat, all these guys were very big.
Yeah.
And he was big himself, right?
So, but that's quite interesting because looking at the names you're mentioning, you're literally nothing, not even close to, you know.
And that's what's interesting about my story.
Yeah.
Is that I was the first vocalist that he actually signed in his label. And I was the first artist that got for people to actually discover that he's actually a real musician. He wasn't just a Kwaito producer. He's like Cleo can play 6 instruments.
Wow.
He actually loves jazz.
Yeah.
That's his real like love.
Yeah.
So he signed me and then we worked on an Afro Soul album, literally. Like live band.
Yeah.
Full on live band. That was my first album, by the way. It's called Just Donald. It came out in 2010.
Yeah.
My first album came out in 2010. And not much happened.
Okay.
Yeah, I dropped an album and I think I was introduced. I did some TV here and there. I remember the first person to interview me on TV was Masichaba Ndlovu.
Wow.
Yeah, on SABC. I think it was, back then it was, I think, the Weekend Live situation. Yeah, I think that's where I was on TV for the first time.
Wow.
It was through that album. But I didn't blow up. I thought my life was going to change in that moment. You know, God was like, nah, but not yet. You still need
We're still cooking.
Yeah, we're still cooking, still working with you. So it was that moment that prepared me for the moment. Because in 2011, we decided to part ways. Our working relationship ended that year. Yeah. I just one day woke up, man, and I felt like, you know, we've tried for the past 2-3 years, and I feel like we're stagnant. I don't think he knew how to take it, to take my career to another level. Even Naya, he was dealing with quite a lot at the time, actually. So I went to him, as a brother, and I was like, my brother, you've taught me everything that I know about this music industry. I've met so many people through you. You've shown me things, and I know that this is really my calling. However, I think now I have my own vision.
Wow.
If you could allow me to go out there and see what that looks like. And he was like, Ntwana, blessings, you go ahead and do your thing. That same year, I recorded a song called The Love I Know I Deserve. And yeah, the rest, as they say, is history.
The rest is history. If you don't know about it,
here's a crazy
get out of here.
Here's a crazy thing about that moment. So when I got my clearance from him, I went and registered my label called The Exclusive Sounds, and I became an independent artist from that day until today.
Oh, wow.
Yes, sir. Yes.
All of that blowing up, all of that success.
Yeah.
You did
all belongs to me, yeah. Yep. This is the part most people don't know about my career. So the only thing that we did as a business was we got into a licensing deal with Universal Music.
Okay.
Which obviously were, at the time, only starting to give licensing deals. So I was one of the first artists to receive a licensing deal where you're an artist, you have your own record label, and your label comes into relationship with the label, but on a licensing, meaning after, for example, it will be like 2 or 3 years, right? After the 3 years, everything automatically comes back fully to me. But for those 3 years, they have a percentage to my music. But then after those 3 years, when the contract is ended, everything belongs to me.
Wow.
So I have done that with Universal until last year. Sometime.
And you're still happy that you took that contract?
You mean
looking back.
Oh yeah.
Making that decision.
Yeah, because it gave me an opportunity to own my own music.
Yes.
And literally decide where the direction of my career should go. I have never, since The Love I Know I Deserve came out, I've never been under anybody.
Wow.
Yeah, I've always kind of taken my own decisions of what to do in my career.
That's oh my, that is crazy. I don't know if people understand how insane that is.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
I'm probably gonna be really rich one day.
Yeah, definitely.
when I sell my catalog,
I don't doubt that.
Yeah, right now I'm broke, but one day.
There's a lot of people who try to do the same thing, you know what I mean? Yeah. But Donald, when you blew up, like when you came on the scene, it's interesting how what you went through before that.
Yeah.
But I just wanna go to the moment you realize that people are really hyped. Take me on, because I mean, you've been putting out songs.
Yeah.
And not getting a response. And then finally, it was just like a hit, just like that. Yeah.
Let me take you through a story, Nim.
Yeah.
So in 2011, crazy thing actually, you're gonna like the story. So I was invited to a party at Kong. At the time, the club was called Kong.
Okay. Yeah.
I think right now it's called Montana. So you see where Montana is? That used to be Kong.
I don't know where Montana is.
Yes, girl, you know where Montana is. I was with you in Montana. So there's a legend by the name of Cleo. If you know your history of Big Brother, you know Clayton.
I know Cleo.
Exactly. And Cleo went into that Big Brother house and caused havoc.
Yeah, right? One of the best in history.
Yeah, one of the best in history. He's a legend. Yeah. No, he's a legend.
Yeah.
So Cleo was a really good friend of mine.
Wow.
Before he even went to Big Brother.
Okay.
Yeah. So he called me and said, Mbana, I was in the Big Brother house. I'm really I'm a big superstar now. I'm an African star. Like he used to say, like the biggest African celebrity, right? So I've got this party. Come through to my party at Kong and just support me, And he knew I don't drink alcohol. So he's like, Mbana, just 1 hour.
So you haven't been drinking even since then?
Never in my life.
Wow, that's very impressive, yeah.
At the time, my mom had helped me buy a young Khosi nyan at the time because I just wasn't making enough to buy a car, right? Okay, so my mom is always like, ish, that woman. that's a different conversation for another day. We need a whole episode.
Yeah.
But anyway, I took my car, went from my flat in Bram and went to Kong. And then I chilled with the boy. He was all over the place. He had like 3 models around him. Like he was just living life.
You saw the lifestyle. He showed you as a star.
This guy was hectic. And then after that, I went to, like maybe an hour and a half later, went into my car, drove back. So I was on, what's that street that goes from Rosebank back to Randburg? Oh, no, not Randburg, sorry, back to Braamfontein. So there's Young Smart and then there's this other one.
What is it? Do we know it?
That goes straight through and then it takes you into Bram. I forgot the name of that street.
Yeah.
So I took that street, I drove, and then there was a little curve. I curved into the thing and then everything went blank after that. And I had a car accident. Literally, I was driving at 60, 70. I had a very bad car accident. My car was written off. Yeah, the whole front right side of my car was written off. I had hit someone's wall, like a house. I hit a wall.
What happened?
And I don't know. I don't even drink, dude. I don't drink. So I was sober.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that moment happened and I thought that maybe, I honestly thought, one, I've broken, bones or I'm dead in that moment. And then I realized I was still alive. I remember because of shock, I ran to the other side of the road. I left the car there, got out quickly and I ran to the other side. And then when I came to my senses, I realized, oh my God, I just had a car accident.
Wow.
That car accident was really weird to me. Very weird.
You just went blank.
Yeah, I just went blank. I made a phone call. Someone came to fetch me. We had to call, obviously, the guys who would come and take the car.
Oh, yeah.
And then he took me to the hospital. There's actually a hospital like 2 minutes away. A big hospital.
Yeah.
I forgot the name of the hospital. Took me there. And then they checked on me. They did everything. They did, I'm an X-ray because I didn't know if maybe I had even broken something. So they said, you're going to sleep the night here. So I took my phone while I was still waiting for the doctors. I called my girlfriend at the time. I'm not going to say her name.
We're not going to ask.
Yeah,
but now I'm curious.
She was from the VA. That's all I'll tell you. She was living in the VA at the time.
What did she do for a living? What does she do now?
No. She was in school at the time, actually.
Oh.
Yeah, she was at
Is the love and I deserve to dedicate
That's her.
to her?
That's the girl. Yeah, that's the girl.
Oh my, okay. We're going to get back to that.
So after the car accident, I was discharged, I think, after 2 days. So the context is that she actually never came to see me.
Wow.
She never came to see me. She came up with all sorts of excuses why she can't come.
How long have you been together?
We had been together for a whole year. And I had literally introduced her to my family. I took her to my sister's wedding, where the whole family was there. Even it's like everybody. So everyone was like, "Yo, Donald is gonna get married in the next 3 years." And now I really thought that. Like I was inside, fully inside. I really loved her. So
at this point, you're how old?
At this point, I am 20. Early man. Was it 24, 25? Yeah, around there.
Yeah.
24, 25.
Yeah.
So so then we break up. So the type of person I am, ask anybody. If I feel unloved, I'm out. I really want to feel the love. If I feel like the love is not reciprocated, I'm out. It's really that simple.
It makes sense.
It was tough though, because I really, really loved her.
She didn't come to see
She didn't come to see me. And listen, at a later stage, I found out she was cheating on me.
Wow.
Yeah, with a soccer player. That's a conversation for another day.
In that moment, did you feel like I should have probably been...
Dude,
no. I'm joking.
It's so funny. Okay, that was funny. And this is a soccer player that everybody knows. Like I can't. This should be big news if I had to say.
No, you told me after when the cameras are off.
These cameras will never go off. So we broke up, and 2 weeks after that, because I was in recovery at home, I just wasn't going anywhere. And then a friend of mine called Douglas Matimbi called me to his flat. Our flats were probably like a minute away from each other.
Okay, yeah.
So I went to his house. He was like, Mpana, you've been in the house for 2 weeks. Come out, Mpana, just get some fresh air. Yeah. I get to his place, he's cooking, and then he's playing a beat. And a deep house beat. So he used to mess around with beat making. He just used to make beats for
fun.
Yeah, he was a rich kid. He didn't have to do nothing.
Yeah.
And then I'm hearing this beat, I'm hearing this bass line. I'm like, yo, this is nice. I'm not really a deep house guy. But it was just something about the song. And then there was a guitar in this beat that just went in the beat. That guitar was already there. I heard this, and then I just started mumbling this thing. And then before you know, the first line that came to me, the first words that came, and listen to me when I say this, they came exactly like that. It wasn't part of. Was the love I know I deserve. Because for that 2 weeks, remember, I've just broken up with my girl, and I really felt like I know how I want to be loved. And this that I'm getting from this girl is not it. And that's why that line came. And then my boy was like, yo, bro, that's dope.
Wow.
Yo, brother, you need to record that. I'm like, yo, damn, actually, maybe I need to record this. While we listened to the beat, there was another part, another guitar in the beat that goes, and then I just started mumbling words with that melody also. And that's how I was able to make the verses and then the chorus. I literally went to the studio the following day, wrote that song in full, and recorded it. And I really felt like, oh my gosh.
You knew it?
No. I was like, oh my gosh, I think this might be it.
Right.
I had the moment, So that was the moment where I was like, and this is before everybody hears the song. I was like, no. I think we're up. I think we might actually be up.
This is it.
This might be the moment,
guys.
You know? I had to wait maybe 3-4 months before that actually became a thing. But so we dropped the song in October the previous year, 2011. People only got to recognize The Love I Know I Deserve in 2012.
Wow.
It had been out for almost 4 months.
How did it get picked up?
So I was not signed to anybody at the time.
That's why I'm like, how did you get so much coverage?
My story is very different. It's almost like the story of a lot of artists now who use social media and they blow up. Right? With me, I just met a few individuals in my life who I believe God put right there.
Absolutely.
There's a guy by the name of Simpiwa Majola. He's a big PR guy. He's worked for some of the biggest PR, companies in this country. He has made so many superstars. Every superstar you can ever think knows Simpiwa Majola. One day he just said, Mfana, because I don't remember exactly where I met him, but it was through Cleo. He said, Mfana, you've got something new, because I'm going to go to Metro FM and I want to just drop them off if you have something. And I was like, no, I've got the CD. I met it. Because basically what I did, I would take a little bit of the money I have and make CDs. So that at any time, if anyone wants to hear what I'm working on, I can give it to them. So I gave him the CD. I kid you not, the following day, my song was playing on the radio. No label, nothing. Just through Simpiwa Majola going to Metro and saying to the compilers, yo, I've got this new kid, Donald. Actually, I think you guys might know him. They actually knew me because of Cleo. I met everybody through Cleo.
So everything happened just how it was supposed to.
Exactly how it was supposed to.
You met up with Cleo, you did a project together. It was unsuccessful.
But I sold so much.
What was coming, it was just a preparing moment.
It was just a preparing moment, yep.
Oh my goodness.
So that song played the following day on Metro FM and it never stopped playing.
Hey, Donald.
And so now, think about this, right? Think about this. This song is playing almost 2-3 months on the radio. People are hearing it and it's becoming popular. And people are asking for it. People are making CDs of it, whatever. It's playing in cars. And nobody knows who the hell this kid is. Until one day in December, I met the producer of Live Amp by the name of Stula. I met him through Cleo. And Stula was like, Mfana, what are you busy with? He said, no, I actually have a song that's out. I think it's out in the streets, it's making noise, but I need for sure. And he said, what song? Can you sing it? I'm like, the love. He's like, there's no way. This sounds like I'm lying, eh?
Sounds so magical.
He's like, there is no way that's your song.
That's your song.
I know that song. Mpana,
but I didn't know it was you.
So he's like, don't worry, Die Rise, the 29th of January. Guys, you must go back to the 2012 and check. The 29th of January was a Friday. And that's the day that I was on Live Amp for the first time, being interviewed by Bonang Mateba. You see, I've got goosebumps.
That is crazy.
My life has never been the same since.
Ever since.
Everything changed immediately
after that.
Yeah, because after the Live Amp interview, I got a call from Nolene Maholana Sango. At the time, she was the Oprah of South Africa.
Yes, Three Talk with Nolene.
Nolene. I literally did that the week after Live Amp. And then there was now this craze about this, who the hell is this light-skinned boy trying to take our girls?
And the body
Listen, no, I didn't have the body. I was extremely skinny at the time.
On the music videos, I saw the body.
I was skinny at the time.
Oh, at the time.
And then a few months before I shot the music video for I Deserve, I started going to the gym.
Okay.
Because I knew what I wanted to look like, who I wanted to be.
Yes.
I knew that I wanted to be that real crooner. I wanted to be desirable.
Yes.
I wanted the music to really fit the image. And that's when we started making gym a part of my life, and I haven't stopped since.
I thought since you were a sportman, it came from that.
No, the gym, I wasn't doing weights. So I was coming from football.
All right.
So I was still skinny. Yes, my legs, I was quite strong with my legs. If you check soccer players, they're still skinny, but they're strong here.
Legs, yeah.
That was me. And then I just started going to the gym, man. I just started discovering another guy.
Hey.
Because, that does something else, I always tell my boys, I'm like, you guys think you need to go to that gym for like a year and a half. You will see what happens to your life. Your life will never be the same again. So that's how things went, man. And yeah, crazy.
So you get to the climax of your career and it's the highest point.
Yeah.
Where are you mentally? Are you still the same village boy that you were who had a certain mentality, had so much discipline within themselves?
Yeah.
Were you still that person at the climax of your career?
At the climax of my career, I became obsessive. My level of focus and discipline was at an obsessive level. Like everybody in my team, because also what I did, I assembled my own team.
Yes.
I've literally been the captain of my ship from day one. Yep. But I had, a couple of individuals who I knew would help me with my vision, right? And I was too much, man. I was too much. I actually never had a social life. I went from this show to that interview to that studio session to this and that and that. I never stopped.
Did you lose yourself?
I did. In a way, I lost the person, the human being, for a little bit. For a while, I did lose the human being a bit, because now all I saw was the stars and I just wanted to reach even higher.
Yeah.
What made it worse was when I got nominated for the BET Awards. 2013, I was one of the two nominees for the BET Awards, me and Toya DeLazy.
Wow.
We went to LA, and I was sitting right next to Kevin Hart and Megan Good.
Wow.
And I remember I had already met Miguel at the time, because Miguel had come to South Africa in 2012, and I had opened for him. So by the time I went to the US for the BETs, Miguel knew me by name. I remember walking in with the other African nominees inside the building, right? And Chris Brown was doing his sound check with Nicki, and Miguel was just sitting there watching their sound check, because he was gonna go up with J. Cole for Power Trip.
Guys, so many names. The floor is shaking. Have you heard all these name drops?
I know.
It's like an earthquake in here.
So as we walk in, so I was walking in with Ice Prince, Radio and Weasel from, where they're from Kenya or whatever, I'm not too sure. And the other African nominees. As we walked in, I hear someone calling me from a distance. Hey, yo, Donna, what up, boy? I'm like, what up? Like, it's Miguel. He's calling me by name. I'm like, yo, how is this happening? Like, I'm telling you, it was crazy. But I'll be honest with you, that moment is so humbling for me.
Absolutely.
So humbling. Instead of me having this really huge chip or whatever, I was actually humbled, because I realized, I'm like, damn, I'm just a young boy from Mantere. And look at what dreams can do.
You're walking in the same stage with Abu Chris Brown, Abu Nicki Minaj, Abu Jay. Like, that's crazy.
It was so humbling. it was moments that when I'm alone, I would just cry, man, because I just didn't understand also how to fully take it in, you know? And I remember just a funny story. I need to add to, I have to tell you the story.
Yeah.
Backstage, so the reason why we were coming into the building was because they used to have the African category recorded separately. I don't know if you guys are aware of that.
Oh, and
unlike now.
Okay.
So now they've made it part of the show.
Part of the show.
Back
so
then,
it was on the
to,
side. Okay,
yes.
I think some awards do that, like not just Africa, but there'll be certain categories where are not on live, on the big stage.
So, but now this one, they would record us at a different time where there's no one in the thing, in the auditorium, and then they would then edit that into the main show for the African. So when they played BET Africa or on MTV, they'll play the whole show with us involved, but in the main show, we're not part of the main show. They would record us individually.
And then just when you guys go on the air break, that's when they played for African countries.
Yes. They wouldn't play that edit in America. No.
Yes.
They'll play that edit in Africa only.
That's
how it used to be. The politics of music.
I'm glad it's not like that anymore.
No, it's not like that anymore. Also because people like Wizkid fought for that. Because Wizkid would say, yo, I'm not coming because you guys don't take us seriously. But to come back to the story. So we record our segment.
Yeah.
We do the whole thing and then they announce the winner. The winner that year was Ice Prince from Nigeria. All the Nigerians were winning that year.
Yeah.
I mean, actually those years.
Yeah.
It was only the Nigerians winning.
They fought a good battle.
You know what I mean? And then we went out of the building and then they put us in like a holding place before they actually came to fetch us, the shuttles, before the shuttles came to fetch us. While we're waiting, we hear commotion. Like people are screaming or whatever. We're like, I wonder who's this? Someone is coming from the inside, right? And then we check, by the time they get closer, we realize it's Nicki. She's coming with like about 6 or 7 like entourage security. Safari was there right next to him at the time. And then she's passing right next to us, right? She doesn't know who the hell we are. She really doesn't care.
Yeah.
Something in me, because I was a Nicki Minaj, like, listen.
A Barbie.
No, listen. I don't think you understand. Guys,
I'm a Bob, so I get it. Yeah.
I see her, she's passing, and something just said Donald, and I never get starstruck, ever.
But that day,
I was like, hey, Nicki, can I get a picture? Literally. Like, I've never, ever acted that way.
Please tell me we have a picture. Do you have a picture?
I have never, no, I did not get the picture. The story is, girl, you don't understand.
Tell me this.
Then the security's like, yo, no pictures. They're trying to get everyone, they're moving everybody, whatever. And then one of the guys we were with, actually, he's from the UK. He was a TV presenter from the UK who was part of our segment.
Yes.
Said out loud, he said, yo, why you guys treat her like that? She's just a human being. And then she stopped. She stopped for like 2-3 seconds. And everybody stops when she stops.
Nicki,
and then she turned around and faced us. She said, who the hell said that? Hey, yo, Nicki went off.
Oh my gosh.
She's like, don't you see I don't have any makeup on?
Okay.
I'm a woman. I got no makeup on. I can't take pictures with you.
You guys are still just...
She went crazy. This is peak Nicki Minaj. This is Nicki, like...
The pink weave,
This is Pink Friday Nicki. Yeah. And I saw this and I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. That's what I'm thinking in that moment. I'm like, yo.
You're gonna say, oh my gosh, I should have just said nothing.
There's no way this is happening.
In my real life, like right now.
This is absolutely amazing.
Oh my gosh, that was the award. That was the highlight of the awards.
That was the highlight of the awards. And because we went to the awards and it was just so amazing, so mind-blowing. But for me, that moment was just amazing.
Oh my God, you saw Nicki raw. You know Nicki
was right here. She's short even.
I hear like she's just like
she's just a short, beautiful, so beautiful.
Yeah,
so much aura.
I think she's so beautiful. No one
so
could
much aura, so much energy.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that was the BETs for me was just eye-opening.
Okay.
No, I mean the whole experience was so eye-opening.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible. So you get to that point of your life where it's really like the highest. The highest. You know what they say? I heard this proverb. recently.
Yeah.
It was saying that the person who's on the low is in no danger because you can't fall when you're already down.
Yes.
But the person who's at a height, that's the person in danger.
It's very vulnerable.
Because you could just drop dead.
Yeah.
And that's where you are in your career.
Yep.
There's only one way to go. You've reached the peak.
The pinnacle, or whatever the standard was in South Africa at the time. Because I was literally one of the few artists who's ever really kind of done that thing, the way it was.
What you did, I don't think maybe a lot of people would get it. But I know there's a lot of us who absolutely get it.
There are those that get it, but there's a lot of people that don't get it. You're right,
But majority of people absolutely get it because I don't even know the genre of music you came with.
Yeah, we don't know what it is. Yeah.
But we were all there.
Like, it was inside.
Elokshini, Emma Sababsini, Emma Plaza, everyone was singing I'm over the moon.
We got to make black people sing in English.
Exactly.
That thing was so taboo. It wasn't a thing at all.
It's not a thing at all.
You know, and it goes back to that moment when that lady, Wakoma Laika, told me that I would never make it because I wasn't relatable. I remember there's one concert I did that was significant, right? Where I realized, okay, cool, D, you made it, my boy. Yeah. It was in Lesotho. It was in December. It used to be called the Vodacom concert, the final in December. Huge.
Oh, okay.
35,000 people. Probably one of the biggest festivals I've ever seen. Like, I've never seen so many people in one place.
Wow.
And that year, Casper Nyovest was one of, believe it or not, was one of the opening acts that year. And Double HP was one of the headliners.
The headliners, yeah.
And I came in, I didn't know how big I was.
Wow.
I'm not gonna
lie.
I performed on that stage. I've never felt anything like that in my life. Like, that was probably one of the most amazing shows I've ever done.
Yeah.
Like, unbelievable.
I don't know why, but I see it.
Can you imagine it?
I see it.
When that beat of Over the Moon dropped, I literally saw people take off their shirts and alcohol was flying in the sky. Like, guys, I was like, yo, hold on. So much power for one man. There's no way. Like, and those are the moments that test you. Wow. Because you're like, yo, this is me. I'm making them do this. And that can go either way. That can make you feel like, yo, I am God. Or that could make you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm humbled. Thank you so much for the gift. I hope the message gets through to the people and it does something for them in their lives.
Yeah.
That moment was so amazing. I remember I even have a screenshot of Casper. Casper tweeted it that day. He said, Donald is the best live act at the moment. I've got that screenshot on my phone
and it's
to this day because he became Mufasa. Like, I didn't even see that coming. You know, but it's so significant. That moment is so significant for me.
Wow. That's absolutely incredible. I mean, with your journey, tell me what were your biggest lesson thus far? What has been your biggest lesson?
I think the biggest lesson is knowing how to be responsible with the power that God gives you.
Absolutely, yeah.
That it's not yours. For me, that has been the biggest lesson. And that's why it hurts me so much when I see other people that God has given power to and they misuse it and they get into trouble and they don't know why they're in trouble. And I'm like, but my dude, you are using this power the wrong way, you know? And for me, I think that was definitely my biggest lesson. But one of probably the biggest ahas for me was, yo, Donald, you are a human being. Stop working yourself up. Because I worked myself up for many years. But also at the same time, looking at all the grades and realizing the grades have gone through the exact same thing. Like, you can never fully be comfortable in the place where you are. You always feel like, no, but there's much. There's more and I want it, you know? And that's why I got to a place in 2016 where we did the red mic experience because that, you know, that was significant for my career. I always wanted to have my Usher, you know, 8701 moment where Usher live at, I don't remember what venue he was in, but for me, it was Donald live at Carnival City. I always had that. That was always a huge dream for me.
Yeah.
And I made that moment possible for myself because I didn't even have any sponsors for that show.
Wow.
I used my own money.
Woo.
2.2 million. No, I you know, I had been very grateful, not grateful. I had been very fortunate at the time. You know, I had worked really hard, and you know, God had allowed me to I guess make that moment a possibility. So when we tried to get sponsors all over the place, we couldn't, and we had people that had promised us, you know, and I had some savings, and I was like, okay, I'm not canceling this thing. So we will take all the money I have, and we are putting it in this thing. So when I'm pumping.
That's the energy I need throughout my life.
That's
honestly.
literally what happened.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we're out of time. Everyone is just looking at me like, can you just remember? But before we do that, you have music out.
Yes, I do.
Please tell me about your album.
Yeah. Whew. Another significant and very emotional moment again in my career. I just dropped an album called Train of Love 2. Exactly.
Oh my gosh, we're going back on the train, y'all.
So again, in true Barbie style, I took that idea from Nicki Minaj when she dropped Pink Friday 2, and I was like, yo, that's such a boss move. I'm doing that, you know? But also knowing and understanding that you can't do a 2 if the 1 wasn't iconic.
Right.
So we decided to take this moment to almost kind of celebrate the 2012 album that changed my whole life, that changed so many people's lives, and do an album that will be significant to this moment to say, say thank you to South Africa for allowing me to do this for so many years.
Wow.
This year, I'm celebrating 16 years in the industry as a solo artist. 8 albums in, independent. Yes.
Can you believe it? A whole you did this all by yourself.
Well, with a lot of support from a lot of people.
Course,
Yeah. But I think the vision has been mine from day one.
Very, very clear.
So the album is out. It features the best of the best. Luandlo Nkulu, Basi, Lim Crazy, Zamo Trophies, Chicho Machikicho. Who else is in this album? Nati Mankai is in this album. Manana is in this album. This is like, the Q Twins is in this album.
Hey, you know what? I don't want us to waste any more time. Please, let's go stream the album. Where can we stream the album? I mean, we can find it everywhere.
Yes, you can find it
everywhere. But go ahead and just let them know.
Yeah, you can get the album Train of Love 2 at all the DSPs, all the downloading platforms.
Yes.
And yeah, man, I'm just so grateful for the support. Thank you guys so much for allowing me to be here. I'm so grateful. I really I don't know, you know, is there another word after thank you? I don't know what else to say, you know, but I'm really grateful. And thank you so much for having me here. This is really great.
It was only a pleasure, and we could feel your heart. So you don't have to even put it in words. We could feel it. We absolutely love it. Guys, please let's support Donald. Train of Love 2 is out. And make sure you go stream, use it on your reels, your stories, please now support my boy. I mean, he's incredible.
Come on.
The music speaks for itself. With that being said, please stay tuned for our next episode. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and drop a comment for Donnie. Go! Until next time, mwah.